Hi everyone, this is Amit K. In this video, we are going to set up a regional external load balancer in a shared VPC. If you know how to deploy a regional external load balancer in a standalone VPC, then the process is almost same. But here, what we are going to achieve, basically, we are going to deploy our regional external load balancer in our host project, and the backend service, which is going to be targeted by the load balancer, has to be deployed in the service project, right? So basically, this model is you can also call as centralized management of your load balancer. So I have already uploaded a video on this cross project reference, where I have deployed an internal load balancer, and we have used the cross project reference to attach the our backend service. So more or less we are going to follow the same process here. So in this architecture, you can see that I have a host project on your right hand side, and I have two subnets, the regional subnets. Basically, the first subnet is in the Mumbai region, and the second subnet in the US central region. And I have also a service project which is attached to my host project, because I have the shared VPC. And this service project is basically the project where we are going to deploy our web servers or compute engines and the backend service. And this backend service is going to attach to my internal sorry regional external load balancer, basically the front end. And so that the load balancer can send the traffic to the backend service. So since this is a regional external load balancer, so I need to use two regional external load balancer for both the region. So if you don't know what is regional external application load balancer, so this load balancer is basically a regional in nature. So you can use this load balancer if you want to serve content from only one geolocation. Yeah, and for example, this is basically required to meet the compliance regulations, right? Or if any standard network tier service is desired. So here also, let me show you one more diagram here. This is the overall flow of a regional external load balancer, where a user will coming from the internet, and it will hit to the forwarding rule. So forwarding rule is nothing, is just a front end. So based on the forwarding rule, it will redirect to the target proxy. And if you have a SSL certificate, you can use the SSL certificates here. Otherwise, just go without the SSL certificate. And then with the URL map, which is also a regional, and from the URL map, it is going to hit the backend service, right? And you can have a multiple backends. It can have an instance group, right? So here is also, we are following the same architecture, but only the difference is that we are using the two projects. The first project, the host project, basically contains your this part, forwarding rule, HTTP proxy, URL map. So all this component, and the firewall rule and the proxy subnet, all this component will be deployed here. Only the backend service will be deployed in the service project, right? So let's see how we can deploy this in our demo. And I am already logged into my Google Cloud project. And here I have a VPC network, VPC1. If you go to VPC1, I have two subnets. I have already created two subnets, subnets 1 Mumbai and subnet 2 US Central. The IP range of subnet 1 Mumbai is 10.255.88, and for US Central is 10.55.60. And if you go to the shared VPC, I already created a shared VPC just to save my time. So creating a shared VPC is just a 2 or 3 clicks. It's very easy. If you don't know how to create, you can watch a video which I have already uploaded in my Google Cloud Network series. So here, these two subnets are already shared with the service project, right? And since I am an admin, I have already added myself as a I mean granted a permission myself on these subnets, right? So on my second tab, the load balance. This is my second project, 26526. This one, and that was my first project, 11118, which is my host project. And this is my service project. So this service project, basically, this is the one where we are going to deploy our backend service. So let's go ahead, and I have already deployed a compute a web server in both the region. You can see that web 1 Mumbai, web 2 US Central. And I've already added to the unmanaged instance group, right, in the VPC1 network. So creating a VM is very easy in a shared VPC network. You just need to create an instance, and let's say this is your central one. And I'm not going to deploy, I'm just trying to show you. So here it is a default network. You just need to select this option, network shared with me, and the subnets which I shown you in the shared VPC, this one will be appear here. So you can select your subnet and create your virtual machine, right? So basically, for IP allocation of this VM instance, the VM, your VM will be deployed here, but for IP and network related component, it will be allocated from your shared VPC. All right, so I already deployed these two machines and the instance group is already done. So what I am going to do, I'm going to deploy the backend service. So go to the network service load balancing. So as per the architecture, you have seen that in this project, I have two regions, so, Mumbai and Central. So I have to deploy, since this is a regional external load balancer deployment, so I have to create a regional backend service, right? So which means I have to create a two regional backend service. So let's create this. So go to the backend and create the regional backend service. I'm going to name is regional BS Mumbai, and here select your region. And this is very important, right? So I already covered this one, regional internal application load balancer. And you can watch it, and same steps we are going to follow for the external one, right? I have covered the internal one, but now in this video we are going to cover the external application load balancer. Okay, select your instance group backend. So backend, I'm going to backend network, sorry, the VPC one, and your add your backend is going to be Mumbai. Done, right? So, and the health check, I'm going to create a health check CK Mumbai. Sorry, what is that? Yeah, done. And Cloud Armor, I will cover it later. Let me just deploy this and continue. And here it is very important because you need to create a, see, basically this permission is saying grant permission to the load balancer admin from other projects so that they can add this backend service to the load balancer. Basically, I'm giving myself a permission. Let me just add myself. So I'm giving myself a permission so that when I log into my shared VPC, my host project, and when I create the load balancer, I should be able to see this backend service. And that's where you need to grant a permission to the load balancer admin, or or the person who is going to manage your load balancer, right? So you need to create it. This is very important. So similarly, I'm going to deploy one more. Okay, what is that? Yeah, sorry, yeah, regional backend service. So I'm going to say regional BS US Central, and here I'm taking a central one. Yeah, this one. External network is VPC1. Add a backend. Now it's going to be IG US Central because I've changed the region. And done. Health check. Going to say SCK US Central. Save it. Done. So your first regional backend service is now ready. Just see if it is healthy. Yeah, it is healthy 101, and you can find all this detail. Similarly, my second backend service is being created, right? So let's just wait for a second. I mean, meantime, go to your, so as of now, my backend service in Mumbai is ready, and backend service in US Central is also ready. It's a regional backend service. Remember that. And now I'm going to my host project, and I'm going to create my regional load balancer, basically the front end. So go to your network service load balancing. So right now I'm logged into my host project, and here we need to create a load balancer, a regional load balancer. So we are going to create two different regional load balancer. So let's first create regional ELB Mumbai, and here I need to select Mumbai, and network is VPC1. So proxy only subnet, I have already created a proxy only subnet for Mumbai. So proxy only subnet is nothing, is basically the external load balancer, the regional external application load balancer is a proxy load balancer. So basically it means the traffic which is coming to your load balance is going to be terminate and is breaking into two parts. The first part is traffic from your public user, I mean from internet to your load balancer front end, and from front end the traffic is going to your backend service. So this proxy range is used as a proxy IP range, right? So that's why we have to use this proxy only subnet. So now go to your, so this is your front end, you can name it fe1. I am going to make it 80. I don't want to use 443 for demo. It's fine. Now go to your backend service. So here, this is very important, right? It's cross project backend service. So what is cross project backend service? Basically, I'm saying my backend service in this service project, right? And that's why it is saying cross projects. And I'm deploying my load balancer here in the host project. That's why this option is cross project backend service, right? So I'm taking my backend from the cross project, right? So take the project ID and put it here, and the load balancer name, and that's it. That's it. Review and create it. So it's going to take few minutes. Let me create another load balancer for say US Central region. So I'm going to make it Central, US Central. So earlier the proxy subnet was already visible in the Mumbai region because it was already created. So if you don't know how to create a proxy only subnet, you can create it from here as well. So I'm going to name it um, I'm going to name it US Central, and the range I used 129 earlier. I'm now going to use 130. V2, go to backend here, um, get your project ID and your load balancer backend service name, add it to routing rule and review it. Right? It's pretty simple. So my regional ELB Mumbai is ready. Just see, click on that. So you can see that it has got a public IP and the backend service, right? This is very important, right? The backend service. The backend service, it is saying this project, right? The regional BS Mumbai is coming from this project, this service project, which means this service project. That's why it is a cross region backend service. And here you can see the backend is healthy. So right now I have these two, both the load balancer, regional load balancer already. So let's just try to hit that. Copy this. I'm going to use Chrome. So this is my Chrome browser. Here I'm trying to hit. If everything works okay. Okay, so you can see that. So this public IP is a public IP of my regional external load balancer of Mumbai region. And that's why you can see that the host name is Webman Mumbai, and the region and all this is going to be a Mumbai region zone. So I talked about, right, proxy only subnet, right? So you can here if you see that your IP address is going to be 1.129.002. Why it is 129.002? Because your traffic is actually terminating at the load balancer. So if I show you here, when a user is sending a traffic at this regional load balancer, right? So it gets terminate here, and the new session will be initiate from here, and the session which will initiate from your internal load balancer, it has um, to be initiate from your proxy subnet range. And what was my proxy subnet range? If you see at the load balancer, um, if I show you here, This is the one, right? 110.129.00, and that's why it is using this range. Any IP it can pick from this range, right? Now if you try to hit my second load balancer, you will see your client IP is going to be from this range, okay, 130 range. So go to your load balancing. Now go to ELV of central region and grab this public IP. Now in the second tab, see, you can see that your request is serving from the US central region web server, and this is your client IP, right? This is your which is taking the IP from the proxy subnet range of the US central region. So this is how you can deploy your cross regional external application load balancer. Okay, one more important item is a DNS. Basically, you won't give two different public IP to your customers or to your client. You basically set up a cloud DNS in front of your customer and attach both the public IP into your DNS records. Then what happens? User will always hit your URL, and based on that, your routing policy, the request will always be forwarded to the appropriate backend service. Let's say I want to have a failover routing data. So what happened in this case? Whenever a user will hit your DNS record, your domain URL, the request will always forward to the your Mumbai backend instance. Let's assume that your Mumbai backend instance is the primary reason, right? Is the primary web server where you want to serve all your requests to your users, and this your central is going to be your a DR or a standby region, or maybe you can say that active region. In case of any regional outage in Mumbai, the traffic will be automatically diverted to the regional load balancer in the US central, and the traffic will forward to the US central backend service, right? So how you can do that? I don't have any public domain right now, but you can do this. Um, if you have any public domain registered, then you simply go to the cloud DNS, and let's say this is my public domain example.com. So here you can just add this routing policy, and here let's say your app name is something like my app 2, and here you need to select this weighted round robin policy. Oh, sorry, not weighted round robin policy, the failover, right? So failover means if this region has any outage, or let's say the backend service is not available to respond, and the traffic will automatically forward to the US central region. You can also do with the geolocations, which means if this is active, let's say this is active, then users coming from nearest to the backend service location will be served from their nearest backend service, right? So, and weighted down roaming is like sometime the request will be forward to Mumbai and central. Like first time the request will be served from Mumbai, second time will be served from central, so it's going to be round and robin, right? This is how you can set your routing policy with your DNS records. All right. So what else? Okay, Cloud Armor. Yes, Cloud Armor you can also attach. But in order to attach a Cloud Armor security policy, you need to attach this security policy into your backend service, right? And so that, because your backend service is in the service project, so your Cloud Armor has to be in your service project only. So if you go to your service project, this is your Cloud Armor policy. I'm not going to create, I'm just let me show you how you can create it. So I'm going to say policy one, anything you can uh, name it, and the policy type is going to be backend security policy. The scope is going to be regional, and the region, let's say I'm going to select Mumbai this time. By default it is deny. Okay, and you can add the rules, whatever rules you can add here, and then the targets is here. You can select your um, regional backend service, right? And then you can select the next step, and you can create the policy, right? So right now I'm not going to create this policy. I will cover this Cloud Armor in a separate videos in details, where we will set up a global load balancer, and then we will set up some sort of sort of Cloud Armor security policy, right? Maybe I'll have my public domain registered, and I'll show you how you can use the public domain to route your traffic. So this is how your cross project regional external load balancer works when you have a shared VPC and have a multiple service project, right? So basically the purpose of having this cross project load balancer is to manage and centralize your load balancer in a dedicated project. So if you want, you can also create a dedicated project, not host project. You can create a another service project, let's say here, and this service project is dedicated to your load balancer front end, and all your front end, like whatever resource, the load balancer, cloud armor, all your resource that you are seeing in the host project, you can also deploy in the dedicated service project. So you can free up your host project, right? So you can only allow your load balancer admin to manage this dedicated project, the front end, the DNS, the cloud armor in a isolated or a dedicated project, right? So this is the benefit of having this cross project reference. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching.